What are the most questions you're getting from teams right now in terms of, you know, what they want to get from you? What do you hear from them?
Usually, mostly just off the field stuff and, you know, things that happen away from the field and, you know, some things like that. And some consistency with production and, you know, just things like that.
And how have you been handle all of these, you know, these questions that's been coming at you about your off the field situation?
I've been honest, you know, I've been straightforward with the teams, and you know, I've made it clear that that's not, you know, who I am. That's not, you know, anything you have to worry about with me, because that's not my character, that's not my personality, and I'm a positive person, and I'm gonna be an asset to the team and the community wherever I end up at. So.
How much have you been asked about Denzel, and how much Denzel's around you, and how much he'll be around you?
I've been asked that question, and me and Denzel and my family have made it, you know, to a point where we're going to be separated, you know, for the beginning of my career. You know, we're going to keep football where football needs to be, and I'm going to be handling that, and they're going to be doing what they do. So,
how tough is it to make a decision like that and do something like that, brother? You know, 27 years.
It's not really tough, because we're at a point in our lives where, you know, we're grown up. You know, we have to understand, you know, for situations, you know, some things have to happen. You know, it's tough love, you know, but I'm always gonna be there. It's not like we won't see each other. He ain't gonna come to no games. You know, it's not like I'm not gonna see him, but living together is, you know, something that, you know, I want to do. I just want to be, you know, focused on my own, and, you know, just really tune in to what's at for and what's next.
Hugh said that you're dominant in zone blocking schemes, but there are some technique things that you need to work on. What specifically do you feel like you need to work on technique-wise?
Well, like double teams, you know, being more, you know, stout and holding my ground more into my own double team schemes, and just really all around just tuning up my technique and just becoming a better player, just evolving and all.
How significant is the interest been from teams? I mean, who have you heard from, and do you feel like it's been pretty good so far?
I've talked to so many different teams, and it's been, you know, a lot of the same things, and really just trying to feel me as a person and get used to me, and, you know, wherever
Are you getting positive vibes from a lot of them?
Yeah, I am. A lot of positive, you know, feedback, and, you know, things are where they should be right now, you know.
So are you actually working out for the Browns today?
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I was, but luckily, thank God the Browns didn't even do that.
Do you have any visits scheduled already with teams?
I do. I have Oakland, Dolphins, San Diego, Arizona, Denver. That's so many. I have like a list. I don't know off the top of my head. There's more than.
In terms of like where your draft projection is, I mean, what kind of information you get in that respect in terms of where you could potentially go?
GM, head coach wise, team wise, I'm hearing anywhere from, you know, top 10, top 5, but, you know, from an all around media perspective, they're saying all kind of, you know, things, but from what I've heard and talked to, you know, scouts and talked to head coaches and GMs, I've heard a lot of good things, so I know where it is.
Well, when it comes to Coach was talking about how, you know, certain things out there about you in terms of, you know, plays, taking them off, and all that kind of stuff. Is that another thing that you really want to try to prove to teams that that's not you on the field?
Yeah, it's not me at all, and you know, my film will, you know, show you that, and my work ethic will show you that also. So yeah, to answer any of those questions, you know.
Where do those questions come from, Robert? I mean, you know, about taking plays off. I mean, I didn't really hear those until the draft kind of projection analysis, that sort of thing.
I guess it comes from, you know, sometimes I miss some plays, I didn't finish some plays, you know, production-wise couldn't do that, you know what I mean? So there's times that, you know, I let some plays slip out of my hand, I didn't get to some plays, you know, but as far as, you know, taking plays off and giving effort, I don't do that.
Will you be in Chicago?
I will.
Is it important for you that you go in the first round, or do you really care?
Yeah, it's very important to me because I feel like it's what I work for. You know, it's what I've earned. You know, but if that doesn't happen, it's not gonna stop me from being a great NFL player.
Robert, for teams that aren't sure if they want to take you in the first round because of all your off the field stuff, what would you tell them? And what would be your case to them to be in the first round pick?
I mean, my case will only be, you know, just to look at, you know, me as a person and look at my past. There's not any issues, like, you know, plural, that I've had. You know what I mean? There's an issue, you know, just like, you know, it's in life. Like, there's things that surround people, and there's things that can happen, you know what I mean? So it's really up to teams just really believing me and trusting me that I will handle, you know, going to the next level and protected with everything I have.
Did your perspective on all this change after that night in Atlanta? I mean, when you go through that 24 hours, I mean, on the other side of that, how did your perspective change, if at all?
In terms of?
Well, just in terms of the way you looked at this process. I mean, obviously you knew you were going to be scrutinized, that was going to be something that was going to be really looked at and evaluated, and people were going to judge you on it.
Yeah. You know, it's part of the process, and it's just part of, you know, just taking things step by step and being mature about it. And, you know, it happened. You know, you can't take the past away. Just kind of got to put it behind you and move forward. You know what I mean? Just like a bad thing happened, a good thing happened. You always got to come back to balance and keep moving forward.
Robert, how important is it that you retain a life outside of football? That you are able to live a life where you can pursue other interests and not just be known as a football player? You're obviously someone who has a lot of different interests.
Yeah, it's not. Football is always going to be my bread and butter. Football is everything to me. Football will always be everything to me. But, you know, as a person, you know, with interest off the field, I just like, you know, to keep myself occupied with things other than, you know, watching TV or, you know, going out. You know, so like I like, you know, doing other things that, you know, keep me occupied and keep me balanced, you know, off the field.
Does anyone question your love of the game? Like when you talk to these GM and scouts and they say, you know, do you really like football? Is it something you love to do? That's talked about a lot at this level.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm confused of where, you know, that came from. You know, I don't really know where that came from, I guess, because like playing the saxophone, so that's I love football. I do everything I put my nuts on line.
But do you think that the process punishes people who are even the slightest bit different than a regular football player stereotype? I mean, do you think that's why you're being asked these questions?
Yeah, that's exactly why, because the stereotype's not always, you know, I kind of break away from the stereotypes of football players, so it's kind of, you know, vague or kind of shakes them a little, but, you know, I would never ever let anything get in the way of my football career. Football is always going to be handled first. Football is my everything. Football is my purpose in this world, and everything factors around that. So.
Okay, so football is super important to you. What does it feel like to be here today, all this media coverage, you're back at Ole Miss in the IPF? What does that feel like for you?
It feels great. Like, it just feels comfortable. Like, all my old teammates, seeing all the strength coaches, seeing Coach Freeze, everybody, you know, it's all over the floors. I haven't seen in a while. It just feels good, you know. It's like it's, you know, back in the backyard, so it just, you know, feels good to feel that energy again.
Robert, do you feel like you have to prove more on the field these last couple, obviously the NFL Combine and then today, because of the stuff that took place off the field?
Of course, I've had to, you know, really try and prove myself, you know, on and off the field as a person, you know, and there's this recording that stopped.
That's mine.
You good? So it's been, you know, kind of tougher, you know, it hasn't been hard, it's been tough, you know, just having, prove that I'm a good person, because, like, I know in my heart, you know, how I am a good person, genuinely. So it's like, I'm trying to prove myself when, you know, I already know it's real. So it's been a tough process, but embraced it. It's been
might be a question you've been asked, but I mean, what would you say if someone asked you, who is Robert Nkemdiche?
Robert Nkemdiche's a football player, intense football player, a great football player who's going to keep evolving to be even better football player, and he's a player that's going to be in the NFL for a long time, and he's going to pursue his dreams in life and have a positive effect on the world.
Robert, you're about to be a young guy with a whole lot of money. Is that something that you've been sort of mentally preparing for, or is that going to be a pretty big adjustment for you?
And I've prepared mentally for a long time. It won't be a problem for me to handle money.
Robert, you wanted to come here and be a 3 and done guy. At the point you came in, there wasn't much they could show you that you could. What was the faith factor? What was the trust factor? Why did you believe that this could be the place?
I mean, Ole Miss has everything a school can offer, and coming in with the guys that I came in with, that helped a lot, also. So I just saw, the depth and the family and the oneness that Ole Miss had. And it was everything I wanted. So I was like, come here and build a legacy, try to do something special.